Good evening, friends. I'm Tim Cook, Music Director of the Carolina Master Chorale. Thank you for tuning in for part 2 of our 3-part series, The State of Things, House Concerts and Conversation with Artists, co-sponsored by the Chorale and the Coastal Carolina University Edwards College of Fine Arts. We also hope that you will tune in for part 3 in 2 weeks at 8 p.m. on October 4th. This series is designed as a musical beacon in a treacherous time, but it is also an opportunity for the Carolina Master Chorale to ask for your financial support. With dark concert halls all over the country, we find ourselves alongside our sister organizations in a precarious state, wondering frankly if we will survive until the passing of the COVID pandemic. We are hard at work every day trying to ensure our future, but we do need your help. Please consider visiting carolinamasterchorale.com to make a donation that will help us stay alive and continue our work as a cultural leader in Myrtle Beach and the Carolinas. If you missed part 1 of our series, I encourage you to visit the Carolina Master Chorale Facebook page for the link from September 6, when our series debuted. A longtime friend of mine and of the Chorale opens part 2 of our series, South Carolina's finest mezzo-soprano, Jennifer Lucan. Dr. Lucan is an Iowa native and a longtime resident of the Charleston area, where she is a frequent performer with the Charleston Symphony and the Piccolo Spoleto Festival, among others. She has made prestigious solo appearances around the world and has taught for more than 20 years at Charleston Southern University.
One of the favorite moments that I've had as a performer is getting to be a part of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. Now, for those of you who are aware, it is, of course, his final symphony and is a long time for the soloists to sit. But when the chorus comes in, led by the tenor and the baritone and eventually the soloists and the whole chorus coming in with that great song that we now know as Ode to Joy, talking about brotherhood of man and loving one another, it just gives you chill bumps every time. I'm going to sing a contemporary arrangement of it, and I'm accompanied by my dear friend Soo-Hyun Yoon from Charleston Southern University. So this is Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee.
Thank you.
perhaps our region's most well-known classical musician, Dr. Philip Powell has earned that moniker not just by providing consistently stunning performances of a wide variety of repertoire, or by outlasting all his colleagues as the senior member of the music faculty at Coastal Carolina University, but perhaps most famously by donning electric blue socks for his performances of Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue with the Long Bay Symphony.
Hello. In this time of uncertainty and conflict and sickness, I would like to offer to you a transcription of a Bach violin sonata. This is the third violin sonata that Bach wrote, and it was written just for the solo violin, no accompaniment at all. And in this third sonata, the third movement, the aria movement, this particular transcription was done by the pianist Leopold Godowsky, who was born in the late 1860s and immigrated to the United States. Interestingly enough, and a parallel to this time that we're in right now, his own father died of cholera. There was a cholera epidemic sweeping through Europe, and his father died when Leopold was just 18 months old. And so this particular transcription, Leopold Godowsky added harmonic and contrapuntal interest to the work, and it's I think it's a work that's serene. The pulse of the piece is, to me, it's calming, and I offer it to you as a meditation, as something that you can listen to and maybe find that stillness in your heart and a quiet space to find calm and reflect, and find our center as we make our way through this uncertain time.
My good friend, Dr. Jeffrey Jones, chair of the music department at Coastal Carolina University and a wonderful baritone and voice teacher, makes his second appearance on our series tonight. You've heard our first two artists open this program with the music of Beethoven and Bach. And now Dr. Jones completes the famous triumvirate, the Three B's, singing one of the most beloved songs of Samuel Barber.
My name is Jeffrey Jones, and pianist D. Scott Ferguson and I will perform for you Sure in the Shining Night by Samuel Barber. This is a gorgeous song, but it's truly the poetry that speaks to me. The poet James Agee wrote this poem during the 1930s, during the Great Depression. He traveled around the countryside collecting the stories of those dealing with a harsh social and financial catastrophe. The protagonist in this poem is wandering at night, trying to console himself with his circumstance. He looks up at the night sky, looking for answers, and he sees the stars. And then he looks at the ground and he sees the shadows of the stars on the ground. And this fills him with hope and gratitude. During our own time, a global pandemic where our country is trying to come to terms with social injustice, I think this message speaks. At least it does to me. And we certainly hope you enjoy it.
Sure on this shining night of stormy shadows round, kindness must watch for me this side the ground. The late year lies down the north, all is healed, all is health. High summer holds the earth. Hearts all whole. Sure on this shining night I weep for wonder, wandering far alone of shadows on the stars.
In part one of our series, we were privileged to share a poetry reading by one of our country's most powerful literary and journalistic voices, Isaac Bailey. Isaac is also half of a remarkable South Carolina power couple. He's married to Dr. Tracy Swinton Bailey, also an author and the founder and executive director of one of the most meaningful nonprofit organizations in our region, Freedom Readers, building futures for underserved children by instilling commitment for the value of reading in their lives. Dr. Swinton Bailey, like her husband, has a multi-generational family history in South Carolina, which has contributed inextricably to her passionate desire to make the world a better place for those that follow her.
When it comes to issues of social justice and racial equity, the last few months have been rather difficult. But something always keeps me encouraged. The idea that I'm descended from ancestors who went through times that were much more tumultuous than the ones that I live in. I'm reminded that because they walked through so much, that I am descended from strong stock and that I can go even further. There's so much that I can do. So I'll be sharing with you a song that was first sung after the Civil War and then taken up again during the Civil Rights Movement. Today it gives me hope because our nation has so many promises to fulfill, and we have so much potential as a community and a people, and we will never stop fighting for freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. No more weeping, no more weeping, no more weeping over me. And before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. And before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free.
As a doctoral student at the Eastman School of Music in the early 1990s, I developed an important friendship with a gifted younger graduate student, Timothy Long, who impressed me in every way. We shared many meaningful interactions over a 3-year period, including my doctoral degree concert with the Eastman School Symphony Orchestra, on which Timothy was a featured soloist playing the Shostakovich Second Piano Concerto. His career has come full circle, and now he serves as music director of the opera program at the Eastman School. Tim is married to baritone Christopher Herbert, a member of the 2-time Grammy-nominated New York vocal ensemble Polyphony. Before they perform together in the next segment, I invite you to get to know Timothy a little better through a 2018 video excerpt promoting a conducting appearance with Tulsa Opera, in which he offers some insight about his unusual introduction to classical music through his upbringing in the Oklahoma Creek and Choctaw tribes.
I'm Timothy Long. I'm from Holdenville originally. I've lived in New York for 28 years, and I'm a classical musician and a member of the Creek tribe. Tulsa Opera is celebrating its 70th anniversary, and they're having a gala concert on Saturday night, and they asked me to come in and conduct it, so that's why I'm here. My mother, who is Choctaw and will be at the concert Saturday night, she grew up in a boarding school. Well, it was an orphanage, the Goodland Orphanage down in southeastern Oklahoma, and she had bad luck. I mean, she grew up there, and then while she was in high school there, she caught tuberculosis, and she ended up being quarantined at the Talahena Indian Hospital for a total of 5 years. It's before they had treatment for tuberculosis. And you know, with the Indians, they did experimental treatments. They tried out all these things, and she saw a lot of death, and a lot of her friends didn't make it out. But the thing that I benefited from, you know, from her sorrows, is that everybody listened to country and western music in this hospital, and she got sick of the twang. So she found a classical radio station, and when my sister and I were born, she only listened to Beethoven. So she listened to Beethoven symphonies, piano concertos, and piano sonatas, and that's the only music I heard until I was probably 5 or 6 when I started playing the piano. So really, my classical music came from having a native mother. If not for her, I probably wouldn't have found this, because, we weren't wealthy people, and there aren't many classical musicians in Holdenville either. So it was all completely due to her.
Hi, I'm Timothy Long.
And I'm Christopher Herbert. Inspired by the recent progress of Black Lives Matter, and also inspired by the recent Supreme Court decision and the Washington football team,
We would like to thank the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, on whose ancestral, traditional, and contemporary lands Rochester, New York now occupies. I first met Tim Cook when we were both graduate students at the Eastman School of Music, and we are here today to support the wonderful Carolina Master Chorale.
ensemble singing brings people together, and it's vital for the communities in which it takes place. We firmly believe in the mission and values of the Carolina Master Chorale.
Today we'll be performing one of our favorite Schubert songs, Im Frühling.
And we'd like to dedicate it to our dear friend and my mentor, Hedda Dernbaugh.
So glücklich war, bevor ich an ihre Seite ging, so traurig und so nah, und tief im dunklen Felsenquell den schönen Himmel blau und hell, und sie im Himmel sah, und sie im Himmel sah. Sie wie der bunte Frühlingssturm aus Knosp und Blüte liegt. Nicht alle Blüten sind mir gleich, am liebsten pflückt ich von dem Zweig, von welchem sie gepflückt, von welchem sie gepflückt. Denn alles ist wie damals noch, die Blumen, das Gefild. Die Sonne scheint nicht minder hell, nicht minder freundlich, schwimmt im Quell. Das blaue Himmelsbild, das blaue Himmelsbild. Es wandeln nur sich wild und wahn, es wechseln Lust und Streit. Vor Liebe fließt der Liebe Glück, und nur die Liebe bleibt zurück. Die Liebe und ach, das Leid, und ach, das Leid. Wenn ich noch ein Völklein nur dort an dem Wiesenhang, dann blieb ich auf den Zweigen hier und sang ein süßes Lied
Soprano Adrienne Danrich was an undergraduate voice major at the Eastman School when Timothy Long and I were graduate students there. Since that time, Ms. Danrich has developed a remarkable career as a world-class singer, a composer, and the creator of award-winning one-woman shows. Her show, This Little Light of Mine, honoring the groundbreaking careers of Marian Anderson and Leontine Price, was commissioned by Cincinnati Opera and won the 2011 Midwest Emmy for Outstanding Achievement for Arts and Entertainment Programming.
Hello, my name is Adrienne Danrich, and the song that I would like to share with you is entitled Genius Child, based on a poem by Harlem Renaissance poet Langston Hughes. It was set for me musically by my good friend Drew Heminger. This has been one of the most terrifying, anger-filled, rage-filled, scariest time in America, especially for my African-American brothers and sisters. I dedicate this song to those lives that have been lost due to police brutality and systemic racism. Black lives matter. George Floyd, I dedicate this song to you. Genius Child by Langston Hughes. This is a song for the genius child. Sing it softly, for the song is wild. Sing it softly as ever you can, lest the song get out of hand. Nobody loves a genius child. Can you love an eagle, tame or wild? Can you love an eagle, wild or tame? Can you love a monster of frightening name? Nobody loves a genius child. Kill him and let his soul run wild.
This is a song for the genius child. Sing it softly, for the song is wild. Sing it softly as ever you can, lest the song get out of hand. Nobody loves a genius child. Can you love an eagle, tame or wild? Can you love an eagle, wild or tame? Can you love a monster of frightening name? Nobody loves a genius child. Nobody loves a genius child. Kill him and let his soul run wild. Let his soul run wild.
Pianist and voice coach D. Scott Ferguson brings a wealth of professional experience in musical theater to the faculty of Coastal Carolina University, including playing in Broadway pit orchestras, conducting touring Broadway productions, and serving as a music director for the Rockettes. I just think of him as one of the most intelligent, musical, and thoughtful people I've ever known. For our program, D. Scott gathered some professional friends from the Broadway world for a reunion performance of a piece that D. Scott first put together more than 20 years ago.
I'm D. Scott Ferguson, and I'm honored to be included in this project. During this pandemic, we have all experienced something in common: change. Change in our daily routines, change in our work lives, change in how we socialize. These changes have given us a unique opportunity to reevaluate and prioritize things that matter. I believe this is our chance to acknowledge widespread injustice, act against bias, and work towards ending racism. As we recognize society's less powerful and most vulnerable, we must do everything in our power to promote a more inclusive healing. We must share ideas, learn from each other, and foster a greater sense of harmony, one that benefits all segments of society and creates a better world, a new world.
About one moment, the moment before it all becomes clear, and in that one moment, you start to believe there's nothing to fear. It's about 1 second, and just when you're on the verge of success, the sky starts to change, and the wind starts to blow.
As we prepare to close, I'd like to remind you that the Carolina Master Chorale urgently needs your financial support, which you could provide by visiting our website, carolinamasterchorale.com, to make a donation. Baritone John Dooley will close our concert tonight. He represents another of the 4 married dynamic duos to appear in the State of Things series. John's wife, soprano Shannon Kessler Dooley, sang in part 1. I've known John just a couple of years, but long enough to know that he's a skilled singer, a truly exceptional actor, and a human being who's deeply committed to filling the world with more optimism and gratitude. Concerning these last attributes, optimism and gratitude, I can't think of more valuable commodities in today's world.
Hi there, John Dooley here, coming to you live from my house, much like everybody else. Very grateful to be a part of this project and help out the Carolina Master Chorale and actually just get a chance to perform. It's been a while, and it's nice to be able to lend my voice to something and share the arts with people in the best way that we can at the time right now. So I'm very grateful for that, and the song I'd like to share with you is actually entitled Grateful. I think in this time when things are so uncertain and the news daily kind of brings things that can send you down that spiral or into a depression or things like that, I think it's really important to focus on all the things that we still have and the things that we should be grateful for every day. I know mine is my wife and my daughter and having a house and a job and an opportunity to perform, and I'm very happy for this. So grateful to lend my voice to this, and I hope you enjoy this song, and I hope it brightens your day and maybe turns your mood around a little bit and changes your focus a little bit from the negative things that are out there and maybe puts a little positivity back in your life. This is Grateful. I've got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting gifts instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think. There may be times when I lose the light and let my spirit sink, but I can't stay depressed when I remember how I'm blessed. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. In a city of strangers, I've got a family of friends. No matter what rocks and brambles fill the way, I know that they will stay until the end. I feel a hand holding my hand. It's not a hand you can see. But on the road to the promised land, this hand will shepherd me through delight and despair, holding tight and always there. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. It's not that I don't want a lot, or hope for more, or dream of more, but giving thanks for what I've got makes me so much happier than keeping score. In a world that can bring pain, I will still take each chance, for I believe that whatever the terrain, our feet can learn to dance, whatever stone life may sling. We can moan or we can sing. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. Truly blessed and duly grateful.